Hello everybody, welcome to the show. Bass and Bonsai, fishing with jelly beans and bubblegum. Buckle up, hang on, this adventure starts now. We are here on the water checking out abandoned ships, and we're fishing with jelly beans and bubblegum today. And as you can see, stay tuned for other videos. There's going to be a lot more coming. I'm here today. I got a full, more or less, day of fishing a lot of different stuff, testing out. I'm stuck on the land because, as you see out there, that is not rug burn. Rug burn is a burn. Stay tuned for that. But anyway, today's video, we are strictly dealing with these little guys here. These are basically none of these are the original. I believe Yozori Bean was the first of these, and several other companies make them. These are all from AliExpress. I think there might be a couple from Bass Pro Shops. So if you're looking for these and you don't want to go the AliExpress way, Bass Pro Shops does carry like possibly the Yozori ones. I've seen them there, Roger Sporting Goods also. But then Cream Lures has a little version, which most of them are kind of this kind of a color. But to get out and get a lot of different varieties, AliExpress. And in this video, I will be sharing a link to almost anything you can get from AliExpress, and I'll be telling you where you can get if you're not familiar with the Z-Man baits, where those can be had everywhere. But then we're also going to try, I don't know what we're going to catch today, but we'll be fishing also with Big A Baits version of TRD, right, for the Ned rig. And we'll be talking about some different heads and all that kind of stuff. I guess we can just talk about it now. Hopefully this is coming through all right. There are all sorts of Ned heads on the market. Now we may even try this little wobble head if you're not familiar with these. Not necessarily, this is for almost any soft plastic, not necessarily the Ned rig. But when you're fishing with bubblegum, it's, right, all rules are out. You can do whatever you want to do. But that is typically just a standard Ned head, right? Ned jig. You just have, it's a smaller wire, lighter line. That's what we'll be using today, is this one and this one. This is also just a standard. I believe that's like the lightest you can get, roughly. And then that's like 1/10 of an ounce, and that's like that's less, I don't know. And then you can get, for comparison, you can also use this one, kind of still a light wire, but if you need to get out there and get in deeper water, they make all different sizes. And then if you're dealing with kind of the extreme, you're throwing around a little bit of brush or some kind of cover where you're afraid you might get hooked up, you can also do one with the weed guard. But like what I'll do now, I typically usually go up in not necessarily on strictly BFS gear. I may go to like a regular rod for this. You can go 16th or 8th ounce shaky head jig, rig it up completely weedless, just like you would the zinkers or the a shaky head worm, and you can also throw them around. Then there's also these on the market, and there's no problem with these either. You could, if you want to go to a little bit heavier gauge wired hook, to where bigger rod, a little thicker line, and get a good hook set without worrying about the hook getting straightened out. They also make some longer shanked, if you're dealing with bigger bass, but their bite's tough and you want to go to the Ned rig, TRDs, or these Big A baits. There's so all kind, and that's just a little handful of what is out there. But don't be afraid if you're fishing with bubblegum. Don't be afraid to stick it on one of these type of heads, possibly even one of the little micro chatter baits, just to get it out there and give it some action, then kill it and let it set on bottom, and then pull it up and let it flutter. But then when it comes to these little guys, these are definitely my favorite for the little smaller bodies of water. But we're gonna get out here today. There should be some action to be had on these baits right here. So buckle up, hang on, let's go. Okay, first thing is I want to talk real quick about how to rig one of these up. Pretty much on any style jig head, whatever you're using for a hook, I use, there's basically two ends, almost anybody that makes them. There's like one end with the little bumps and then one end with the lines, right? The little ribs. I typically like to put that on first, use that as the head and that as the tail. Technically, I don't think it even matters. If you cut a zinkers in half, you don't have those to work with anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You cut the zinkers in half and use the inside half as the head, is the way I do that. So anyway, you're going to want to get it as straight as possible. That is one thing. You want TRD to be as straight as possible. So we're going to rig that up. Try to guesstimate where that will come out. And then just look at it, and that does not look straight. Somehow it has it's got a hump in it. I don't know what happened. Take a little time, especially if you're using Z-Man. You won't kill one. It won't wear it out if you have to go a few times. But yeah, you want it, well, I don't know maybe that TRD, it's been around a while. So yeah, straight. It's kind of fluttering a little bit, the wind's blowing, but straight as you can get it and you'll be good to go. Okay, real quick, I'm going to show you the same process with one of Big A's baits, or just what would be a standard solid plastic that's not the Elastec. So we have it straight rigged on that, and we'll be throwing that. So first thing, we got pretty calm water. The wind is coming and going. First thing I'm gonna start with though is actually not even what I just talked about, but here, let me show you. We're gonna actually use, I've got the Joker back on this rod, and just because I showed you guys, and I don't know how many of you guys know about this bait, and we're gonna watch it run in this water. I'm gonna take one of these Big A baits, and I'm actually gonna rig it up to where it goes all the way on there, just so it stays on better. So I'm gonna have to rig it up to about there. I just want to try. I don't know if I've ever put a TRD on one of these. So we're gonna basically just like that. And I want to show you guys what this bait, I have no idea if it'll catch a fish, but it should do its wobbling that it does. And you actually want to use, I think they used to come with like a 6-inch, skinny worm is what these were originally made for. And they were sold off, or like kind of went out of business. Different company bought them out and they're back in business again. But the wobblehead baits, and that's a little bit of chunk right there. You could actually throw that on a medium action, regular bait caster, spinning gear or whatever. But of course we have our BFS stuff. So that's what we're using. So rod tip down because I'm way up here high. Now I can already see it working good, but you guys won't be able to see it until it gets closer maybe. I don't know if you guys can make that out. It is wobbling back and forth, and when you kill it, it wobbles going down. Hopefully that makes it through the footage. But definitely looks like it should work. I'm gonna throw a little short one just so you guys can watch the whole process. See, it's like wobbling going down. These wobble heads with like I mentioned, a 6, probably even a 7-inch, 8-inch worm, but skinny worm. If you guys can make that out just on a steady retrieve. There's a time and a place, trust me, for the wobble head. I should be down there lower and then reeling slow because we still have colder water. And I got a fish. But when you add bubble gum and give it some action, right? There we go. Just a few cast in, and that bass could not resist this little bait. Look at that gorgeous little bass, right? Caught on bubble gum. What do you guys think? Ooh, give it a kiss. There it is. What do you guys think? That is awesome. And watch, this guy is definitely a jumper. Whee! Splash down, swam out. All right, first catch on bubble gum. And I do recommend on any of the TRDs, it's not really the TRD weight just itself, or any of the stick baits like this are probably heavy enough. Once you get any sort of jig on them, you're not really talking ultralight gear. You're talking light BFS setup to a medium light, depending on what size hook you're using, like I showed you earlier. But I'm not saying don't throw it if you're using one of those other hooks that you can't. It's impossible to throw on an ultralight rod. Some of the ones I have are probably capable, but I like it more on a light rod, and or possibly like the Zephyr, the CU double. But the true, you know, super ultralight or ultralight, not necessarily noodly rods, but whatever. Anyway, is what I recommend when you guys are fishing bubblegum. I like my all-around BFS rods for that, not the true ultralight stuff. Now, what I do like the true ultralight rod and reel combos for are the jelly beans, right? I'm just going to try this guy because I think you guys will see it. I've never thrown this bait, and I just want to give it a shot. But the water clarity is not as clear. I was here a few weeks back. First time I've been here in a while. It's definitely a little slightly stained, but we still have good visibility in here. But I'm going to throw this color basically just to show you guys, so you guys will be able to see it better, and just so I'll see how we can watch how they run. I probably need to get down there for these. So you just have a little kind of a tight wobble. Some of these are sinking, some are floating. That is a sinking bait, so if you guys can see, it's just a typical. Now some of these will almost hunt. Now we'll probably have to jump down there to get a full, get these working good. But with these ultralights, like the Airstream Custom, the Silver Creek, your true ultralight reels, you can get pretty good casts. So yeah, jelly bean bite may be tough today, but we're going. And I cannot quite get out there where I was getting with the that is one downside. That's why I like these for, oh, there's something got it. I just saw, I don't know if the camera picked it up, but something bumped that thing. There's one following it. Got him. So that quick, I don't know if any of that got transferred to the camera or not, but I saw this, or a fish, possibly this fish, was definitely going after that bait right when I was letting it sink. Okay, got a pick. Whee! And he swam off. All right, 2 for 2 so far. Let's keep going. I'm gonna try, actually, let's go back to bubblegum, because we caught one on bubblegum, caught one on jelly bean. Now let's go back to bubblegum. Let's go. All right, and just because we're going back with bubblegum, and because I've already, you guys know the power of the Z-Man stuff, right? I talk about it all the time. I'm going to focus a little bit on the Big A's one. This is Big A's color here. Should be just as effective, and hopefully if we catch enough, we'll be able to tell just how durable. That other one we used lasted pretty well too, but I'm going to rig that up. And if you guys heard me talking about those other rod and reel combos, this by far, man, that is just an awesome combo. I got the streamer coming in ultralight. This is the light version, 5'8". I got a 5'5" ultralight coming for that Airstream, or Stream Custom, not the Airstream. But anyway, I should be able to cast this over to that point, yeah, that I was trying to get to, because it's just a lot more weight. Still lightweight bait, but it's light, like several times heavier than the, oh, there's a hit. Got a fish. I knew once I can get over there. Okay, so let's, well, we ain't got him in yet. This drag is, all my drags always feel loose, but I always typically get the fish in. I'm gonna have to horse him. Look at that. Oh, don't come off. Don't come off. Uh-oh. Get up here. Look at that little bundle of joy. Oh my goodness. Okay, so far today, bubblegum is beating out jelly beans, right? Yes, it is. All right, got a pick. Whee! Oh, hit a little hard. There he goes, swimming off over there. All right, well, that was very quick. Just like that, bubblegum is tearing them up. Let's stop real quick though. I want to find, let's try jelly bean one more time. All right, boys and girls, wind won't really stop blowing long enough to let me get a good shot, but I kind of, you won't see the footage. I kind of went through and tried a couple different. I think these 4 baits I was trying are actually the heaviest of the beans, just by how these will sink. The others are typically floaters and they can't get as far. So I did a little casting with those. So I think our best bet is right there. I'm going to throw that rod tip down, let it sink, and I think I had a little bite on this chartreuse colored one. So I'm going to let it sink out of my sight, and I'm just going to slow crank it. And hopefully when it gets back into my sight, oh no, it blew out too quick. Oh, there's a fish there though. I may have to get these jelly beans working right, I may need to get down that surface of the water, not be so high up. So I may jump right down here and cast that way, see if we can pull a fish out with these dudes. Or a more natural colored one. I don't know, heck, let's throw right now. Whoa! Did you guys see that? And I guess I just threw like way too hard right off the bat. I don't know what that was. You guys saw it. I don't know what it was, but I'm notorious for doing that. Everything's fine, and I think I just pull like some crazy muscle out that I've never used and cast an extra crazy hard shot that I didn't need to do. Because you shouldn't have your rod or reel set for the hardest cast you can possibly. Oh, I got a fish. I got a fish. Now that's when this rod becomes the most fun. Oh, there's more over there. Hopefully I don't spook them. I'm going to tighten this drag a little bit. Hopefully you guys can make out that little bass. Get over here. Get over. I'll probably break this rod again. Get up here. Okay. So, what's that? 1 for the jelly bean and 2 for the bubblegum, right? Beautiful bass. Okay, one last look. Look at that. One side note here. Whee! It's swimming off there. Probably more over there. Now, I'm typically a person, I try to use like natural colored stuff, and then as the water gets darker, dirtier, muddier, I'll go brighter, louder, and all that. But I don't know if you've ever been fishing with Charles and he's throwing fire tiger colored spinner baits in like not crystal clear but pretty clear water, clear as this or clear, and they're still hitting it. Like sometimes all that goes out the window, but for sure, when you're downsizing, you're throwing something like this that looks like a bug, a grasshopper, or whatever. There are some crazy bright colored bugs, in this world, right? So I think that's why sometimes, the crazy colors, just stand out, and the fish are in that mood. If they see it, they'll eat it kind of deal. And then, if they're not in the mood, then go smaller. But that's part of when you're out fishing, start with loud, bright. I think that fish, then subtle, go more subtle, or one way or the other. And don't be afraid to, go to other extremes. Go to real ghosty colors. Today, I'm out here playing around. I'm going to try this black, and just to try it. I want to get this color around a few fish when I can see them staring at it, just so I'll know. It makes for an awesome pick, right? Color matching and all that, but is this bait even good for catching a fish? Let's find out. Let's find out if I can keep it from being entangled up. So those fish didn't seem to want anything. I'm going to try it. And yeah, I'd swear this is a duller feel when I feel that bait moving. Alright, we're about ready to wrap up this bubblegum thing, just because I feel like I'm not getting as far the distance I would like to get with these. Or no, yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't think anything is wanting this black bait. Calm winds though right now. Let's see. Let's let that drop. Got him. Okay, whoa, get out of there. That sucker is trying to go right for that tree. Well, maybe these little bluegill looking things like, oh man, he got that thing all the way. Look at that. I got my pliers. Let me get my pliers. I'll be back. Okay, got it out. He's a flyer. He swam off. So with that, boys and girls, you need a pair of these. Let's wrap this video up. I'm going to put a wraps on bubblegum and jelly beans. So hopefully you liked the video and you saw that if you're fishing, Ned rigs or whatever, kind of light is what I use, light BFS gear. You could use medium, there's a lot of different things you could use, but there's power in the bubblegum. The jelly bean, places like this, or smaller little creeks and streams on your ultralight BFS gear. That's where I recommend it, or your ultralight spinning gear or whatever. Those little baits are pretty awesome. They definitely work for the smaller panfish, little bass. You can catch a big bass. I'm not saying you can't, but I've got a lot of other baits and different stuff I want to test out, so be looking forward to those videos if you want to see other stuff you can fish with other than jelly beans and bubblegum, right? Bass candy, because there's other bass candy, right? Like, let's find a Snickers that works, right? So anyway, hopefully you liked this video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, help share the channel. That's one thing I really need you guys. Help share this channel. We're growing, but Bass and Bonsai grows about 5 to 10 people a week, maybe 15. And I can watch people like, we hit 8,000. Thank you guys for that. But I'll watch it go like 8,020, then back to 19 or 18, and then back up. So I think what's happening is some of the Bonsai guys are dropping off and the bass guys are jumping. So as we're climbing, I think what has us climbing slow is some of the bonsais are dropping off and the bass guys. So we'd probably be growing faster, but we need to grow way faster. So yeah, tell everybody Bass and Bonsai coming to a honey hole near you. Now get out of here, go Bass Bonsai for yourself, but whatever you do, you got it. Make sure you have fun doing it. I'm gone.